Welcome back everybody to another Dragon Ball Super deck profile video here with Chris from CTJ the Saiyan Elites, and bringing you guys a very fun, very aggro, very annoying deck that I've been playing on Untap. And I decided to build it because I think it's really fun, and I think with the new format this deck actually could compete in some ways, maybe change it up a little bit. But we're going to be using the promo Krillin leader, the Stormfist Krillin, and this is a take on some aggro blue stuff. That since we no longer have Piccolo Surge, this leader's Awaken effect is actually really good, and I think could kind of hold its own a little bit. So if you guys like this deck profile, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Hit that bell for all notifications so you guys know whenever we are posting new content. And let me know what you guys think, most importantly. Let me know what you think of this deck, if there's any changes you would make to it. Just give me your opinions. We'll leave it down in the comment section. So what this leader does, he's blue, so obviously we have access to a lot of the blue negates that we can use. Sorry, those things are very uncomfortable to mess with. So what this leader does, when this leader swings at a leader, you draw a card from your life, and then you draw a card. So you're plussing 2 every time you swing, and our goal is to get down to 4 life as quick as possible. We want to get down there by maybe turn 2, turn 3, and just awaken, and then we can start having some fun with our opponent. When we're at 4 life, we choose 1 energy, switch to the active mode. So not great, but we're blue, so it's not a huge deal. And then on the awaken side, when this card attacks, you draw, and then at the end of your turn, you draw a card. So in some cases, that's actually kind of better than Piccolo, because when Piccolo, was running rampant, you basically drew twice on your unawakened side, and then on your awakened side, you didn't draw at all, outside of the normal draw. So not only are we drawing at the beginning of our turn, we're drawing when we attack, then we're drawing at the end. We're drawing a total of 3 cards if we swing with this leader per turn. That is amazing. We're going to go through our deck so quickly, which is great because we're going to be playing out a lot of stuff too. The active main is cool. You can drop a card and this card gets 5k and critical. So if you're going for game, you can do that. There's only one card in the deck, 2 cards in the deck that we want to drop for this, and I'll kind of show that off a little bit later, but I'm not really focused on that too much. At least with this current format of the deck, I'm not really worried about using that active main. It's more so just for the draw power. So we'll start with some of the 1-drops. I run a total of 8 1-drops in this deck. I want to see both of these in my first hand. So first off, we run the East Kai, Keeping Watch. Awesome card. When you play it, you draw, and then during your turn, whenever your opponent plays a battle card, they have to pitch a card from their hand to the bottom of their deck. Great cantrip. Playing multiple of these out really can hurt your opponent, as well as this card, Raditz the Oppressor. Another very funny cantrip type of card. So when you play it, you draw 1. So again, just replacing yourself. And once per turn, whenever your opponent switches an energy to active mode using a non-keyword skill during their turn, not yours, choose up to 1 of your opponent's energy and place it in the drop area. This is really strong. I was playing on Untap, and I had 2 of these on the board, and I think 1 or 2 of these on the board. My opponent, for whatever reason, at that point they just couldn't play anything. Like I played against a Broly player, they would use the Go 10 super combo to untap an energy. As soon as they did that, I had 2 of these on the board. I just said, okay, active. I pitched 2 of their energy. I pitched the energy that they switched to active mode. I pitched another energy. They had 1 left that was in unactive mode, and I think he left the game after that. Obviously, these, not having barrier or anything, they can be dealt with. But for 1 energy, you get to draw a card, and you get an effect on top of that goes for the duration of the game as long as they're on the field. It has a lot of effectiveness to it. I think this is a really funny combination, and also it fits red and blue, since we are going to be playing red blue in this deck. Surprise, surprise. These also can be used as arrival tools. So speaking of red blue, just get these out of the way. We have the check lands, 4 of the Mecha Friezas, and 4 of the Beer Super Combo. Pretty standard for playing red blue. Another card that's probably standard for playing red blue is 4 Cooler. The card's amazing, gets around barrier. Makes your opponent lose a card basically from their hand. They have to mill a card, and 2 of these can kill any 20k with barrier. So like Piccolo simulate abilities and Inspire Technique Vegeta's, you can just play 2 of these, just pop everything. And we do run the the recycling tool. So we have the combo attack cooler. This card allows us to basically recycle this card back into our deck again. So if our opponent, is trying to, if they have something down on the field, we can use this card here, pay 1 blue, pull a cooler back to our hand, and then continuously keep using that same cooler to combo. But also when this card's on the field, it's really nice because once per turn when this card attacks, or if it is attacked, you can take 1 red blue multicolor from your drop and combo with it. So every turn, you're basically able to combo with a multicolor on top of this card. So it's going to be 25k when it's swinging or being attacked, but also that allows you to open up a rival from your hand. So pretty strong. So we run 3 of those, and then obviously 4 of the Trianical Assault coolers. We have some more blue staples, 3 senzu beans. This deck, since it's primarily blue, we have a lot of untapping cards. I don't think 4 is really necessary. And then 4 Dimension Magics. 1 Barrier of Hope. You probably see my other. I've been saying this in a lot of my newer deck profile videos. I strongly recommend everybody to run at least 1 of these 3 drops in every deck. In new monocolor sets, there's a lot of cards that are just really, really strong and they stick on the board. Having the ability to remove barrier and just remove a card from the field is just really, really good value. These cards also have value in your hand because they can be played as an active battle extra card, so they give you 5k, so it's a free sensu bean boost. And obviously it's only for the battle, but it is what it is. It's a nice secondary effect. But for this one, you tap 3, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier, return it to its hand, and then draw 2. So it's a tap 3, draw 2, and you get to remove a threat on the board. More threat removal. 2 hits, Deadly Vanguards. I think when competitive play starts up again, this is one of the four or 5 cards from Draft Box 5 that I think is going to be over $50. It's sitting around between $20 and $30 right now. I think this card is extremely good. For one, this card cannot be returned to your hand. So if you're playing against the blue deck, they can't use Absolute Release Ball. It doesn't work. That says it in the permanent. That's really nice. Comes out for 3. As a counterplay, where if your opponent's playing a 5 or less, you can play this and pitch it back to their hand. And when you play it, you get to choose a 5 or less and put it back to their hand. So you're basically, for 3 energy, you get to put 2 cards back into their hand. It's a complete counter to Smoke Dragon. So if someone's playing Smoke Dragon, you just hit them with this back to their hand. They just tapped out, and then you take another card on the board, push it back to their hand. Really, really strong. Works on Topo as well. If you want to use it on Topo, they're playing Topo, you can do it. It works on almost every card. There's a huge pool of cards that are under 5 energy that don't have Deflect. But if they have Deflect, when you play this, then you can just use the auto and push it back to its hand. So either way, it gets around Deflect and Barrier. If they have Deflect and Barrier, then you're kind of screwed, but that's okay. We have the Barrier Hope card, and we have Cooler, so we can get rid of them. The more board removal, we have Absolute Release Ball. I want to buy the SPRs of this card so bad, just because I love Android 21. And we're going to be at 4 life, basically by turn 3, hopefully. So this card's going to be live for almost the majority of the game. Basically, your opponent plays a card 3 or less. Instead of being played, you play this. You get to send it back to its hand, and then you get to untap 1. Or if you have 4 or less, you have a multicolor in your energy, you can play it out of your hand by paying an energy cost. So, by paying a life for the energy cost. So, still a very, very good card. I run 2 of them. Probably would run 3 once set 10 comes out, since we can go up to 60 cards. This deck, I feel, can run 60, just because you're drawing so much. Whether it's from extra cards or your cantrips or just your leader, you're gonna be able to draw a lot. So I think having more cards is good because you can run more of these and other things, obviously. 2 Ultra Instinct Kamehamehas, the IARs. Again, another card I think every deck should try to run, especially since most decks are gonna be monocolor. These cards work if all of your energy is 1 color. So 15k combo when you play it, and then if all of your energy is blue, you choose 1. If it's your turn, this is a 15k power draw 1, or if it's your opponent's turn, it's a 15k power Whis Coercion. So basically, you play it 15k, you untap an energy. So it basically just plays out for free. Very, very strong. 2 robots. This is the card that we want to pitch with our leader effect. So we can pitch this card from our hand, and then once it's in the drop area, we can activate it, send this, basically remove this card from the game, and then we get to take up to 2 cards in our hand, put in the bottom of our deck, draw that many cards, and then your opponent can't use battle cards on your turn 20k power or less. So they can't Kakunsa, they can't Topo, they can't Champa, they can't Vegeta the Cruel, any of those type of cards. They can't play them on your turn unless they pitch 2 cards to the warp. And since we have a very, very fast way of attacking, with all the coolers and some other stuff we have in the deck, it makes it very, 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 very hard for them not to want to do that. So they're going to have to, if they want to play Topo, they have to pitch a card for Topo, then they have to pitch 2 cards from their hand. So there's a lot of hand control that you can kind of do with this card here. So that's why we run it as a 2-of. 3 Abonie, big boy. Another one of those cards I think it's hanging around the $30-$40 mark, but this card's amazing. I don't think it's broken. I don't think it needs to be banned in the future. I think it's just really good. So it's a 4-drop 20k deflect, which I think is a great stat line for a 4-drop. It needs to have some sort of deflector barrier on it. When you play this, you play 3 after image tokens that have 15k power, 0 combo cost, and 5,000 combo power. So you get 3 15k 2-drops, so to speak. This card cannot be KO'd if there are after image tokens on board. So if someone goes to play, they play Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, the one that wipes everything 20k or less, this card doesn't die, because if there's a token on board, since the token and this is being chosen at the same time, this can't be killed. So the permanent goes into pending or something. I think that's how it's said, and then the after image token dies, so this stays. So it cannot be KO'd. Now the activate main, your opponent reveals top card of their deck. If it's a battle card at the start of their turn, you get to untap an energy. So again, we get to untap another energy just for playing this. And we get 3 extra bodies on board. Now there's a fun little loop that you can do with this card. And this card here, the Son Goku Path to the Infinite. This is a weird expansion card that really didn't see much play. It has 2 uses in this deck. One of them is for this. So with Abonie, you basically can play Abonie out. You get 3 tokens. Then you can activate your main, do whatever. Let's say next turn, let's say Abonie's still on the board, okay? You can tap 1 blue, send this card back to your hand and play this card out for 1. And then you can play this out for 4, and then do the same thing again. So one thing that I did in a previous match, and I don't know if this, I'm pretty sure this is how it works. So the activate main, at the beginning of my turn, I used this activate main. It was a battle card. They shuffled. I basically remember I have to untap 1 energy. Play this for 1, push this back to my hand, play this card out, and then play this out for 4 again, get 3 more tokens, and then activate this main again, the battle card. So now at the end of my turn, I get to resand 2 energy. Really strong. I don't know if everyone's doing it. It obviously is a little strange because it's not a super great efficient combo. There's really no reason why you would do it instead of just trying to be a troll. But it is kind of nice because you do get to get a board, you get to untap more energy, and you get to cycle in your Abonies. And obviously it gives them a chance to counterplay it, so they can just wipe your board if they have certain things. But if you're not playing against red, it's not a big deal. Move the Abonies over here. So with this card here, we have a target for the Ultra Instinct Sign Son Goku. So it evolves for 2 on top of a Son Goku blue of 5 or more. You pitch a card and you play this card out. When this card is played, opponent chooses your opponent returns all of their battle cards to their hand. So it goes through barrier because it just says return them all. So the barrier does not, get around this card. So if you play it and it goes, okay, return all your cards, it has barrier. It's like, doesn't matter. It's not choosing, which is the big kind of wording with barrier. It has to choose the card. So because it's not choosing, doesn't matter. When this card swings, 35k triple strike that cannot be comboed. Your opponent has to negate this attack. If your opponent does not negate this, they're getting a triple strike to your face. And what's nice is that you don't have to combo because they can't combo. They're not allowed. There's no way they can do anything. They can't combo. Amazing card. Amazing card. So we run 2 of those. 2 freezes for our board wipe. I think this card and the green Rebrand are 2 of the best cards because they're both 5 drops. They both have triples. They both have triple strike, and they both just remove an entire board. This is great. In the new format coming up, I feel like there's going to be a lot of weird board swarming things with monocolor cards, and the Rebrand and this just allow you to wipe their entire board. Now, obviously, Rebrand, when it's played, it wipes the entire board. This card has to attack. Not a huge deal, I guess, but you do have to put this card in risk. So when you swing with this card, you minus everything 30,000, kill their entire board, and then for every card that was reduced in power, your opponent has to pitch 2 cards from their hand. So if they have 4 cards on board, or let's say you're playing against the Abonie, let's say you play this, you swing. They have 3 tokens. They have an Abonie. They have something else on the field. So that's 5 cards. You minus all of them by 30,000. They all die. And then your opponent has to basically pitch 10 cards from the top of their deck. It's pretty insane. Very good finisher. Again, we have another triple strike in the deck, so it just gives us some more devastating power. Then I run 1 Fu, the Dark Banisher. This could be easily switched out for Smoke Dragon or the 6-drop, the 10-drop Fu. I like this one. When I play it out for 4, it's triple attack. My opponent wants to activate any skills, they have to warp a card. So sometimes what I can do is I can play out the robot for 1, so that way they play any counter plays, they have to do that. I can play this out, and now I can just swing. So if let's say they play Topo when this card swings, so they have to pitch a card from Topo, pitch 2 cards to the warp because of the robot, and then they have to warp another card from their hand because of this. And then I'm just gonna keep swinging with this. So that is my Krillin deck. Let me know what you guys think. I'll leave a deck listing down below so you guys can check it out in its fun entirety. Let me know what you guys think, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.